Alex with KSI Press, and I'm here with Caleb Hall, who returns to action this Saturday at CFF 105. How are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm really happy to be talking with you. Thanks for joining me during fight week. You're 4 days out. How are you feeling?
Really good, really good. Back up at 170 for this one. Big cut, obviously. Getting to 55 was a struggle. As a professional, I've never lost at 170, so I'm excited to go back to the division where I think I'll do the most damage.
So we haven't talked since your last fight against Joey Banks, and I saw the footage when it first came out, and I thought it was an early stoppage. You've had about 3 months to reflect on it. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Going into the fight, like I'm like excuses are just not like that's not my thing. I felt like it was an early stoppage, but going into that fight, I had some like the weight cut was fine. I didn't rehydrate like I was supposed to. I just couldn't put the weight back on, and just that night I just didn't want to be there. And it was weird. It was a weird feeling for me. I've always I love to fight. That's my thing. I really enjoy it. Anytime I get to a fist fight, I have fun. But I just didn't want to be there. Main eventing, fought late, fought about 10:30. Just wasn't my night. Wasn't my night.
Do you know where that feeling came from?
I put a lot of pressure on myself coming off of my loss, my LFA loss to Jacoby Jones. The pressure I just kept telling myself I can't be 2-2. I can't lose 2 in a row. As a professional, it would just set me back. I feel like every time you lose a professional, it's more time that just sets you back. And guys that I've been on like the same record with or coming up with, they're already 4-0, 5-0, about to get that call. And I just saw myself with them getting that phone call, and I just feel like I set myself behind, and I just didn't want that to happen. So I think I just put a lot of pressure on myself to win. Everybody in the gym knows how good I am, and I know how good I am. And I just felt a lot of pressure. And usually pressure doesn't get to me, but it was weird. It was like a small show, private event. No, like nobody I knew was there. But yeah, I didn't want to be there for some reason. It's a weird feeling. I haven't. It's funny because when you have those days where you don't want to train or you don't feel like training or sparring, you don't. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not doing that today. But this fight was like, I'm back there. They're warming up. My coach was like, come on, let's go. Let's get going. I remember pummeling with my coach and doing a little grappling in the back. And I just had like no strength. It was like I was in a bad dream. And if the fight was never posted, it was a private event. I did have a clip of the fight. I want to show people how the fight went that didn't get to see it. You win them, you got to show them. You lose them, I think you owe it to your people to show what happened in the fight. I don't stand right in front of guys ever and not move, and definitely not move my head. That's one thing I've always prided myself on, is not taking damage, not taking shots. And I just froze right in front of him. Just couldn't throw. Had him in my sights. Didn't throw it. Got hit with a shot I didn't really see coming. It dropped me, and I was totally there. I was cognitive the whole time. My corner said, hey, regard. I dropped to my back, tried to get the guard. Next thing I know, the ref stopping the fight. I got up. I was like, what the hell? What are we doing? I went to the back. I flipped the table. I was pissed. My coach told me, he was like, hey, remember this. He's like, remember how you're feeling right now. He's like, just make sure that doesn't happen again. He's like, because if that was you who would have knocked him down and the ref stopped it, you would be celebrating. So took it to heart.
So with that loss and you just talking about all that pressure you put on yourself, with that loss, you put yourself on a 2-fight losing streak. How important is this next fight for you? And do you feel that same pressure that, a 3-fight losing streak, it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel for this one, the pressure's there. It definitely is there. This one, for me, this is a make or break fight. I'm not saying that like, oh, if I lose this fight, it's done, it's over with. But this is a fight that I got to win. If my goal is to be who I think I can be and who I want to be, this is a fight I have to win. And I need to be able to beat a guy who's making his professional debut. We have a very similar amateur record. I think it's the same amateur record. He's making his pro debut in his hometown on UFC Fight Pass. I know the pressure's on him. How he handles pressure, I don't know. It seems like he's fought CFFC before. He knows how they operate. Never as a professional, but for me, yeah, the pressure's there. I've made some big adjustments this camp, just the people around me who I've worked with. Really had a change of mindset for myself and how I approach training. But yeah, pressure's there, you know, and I think there's always gonna be pressure there. This isn't gonna be this is not every fight of your life is the biggest one to date, you know. But I think what benefits me if I fought for LFA, and that's a big promotion, and I was on UFC Fight Pass. I think CFFC, they're in the same league, so I know what I'm walking into as far as camera, media, you know, interviews, questions. I think they got you know, CM Punk and John Morgan in the seat for this one, so you know, being able to talk to those guys and stuff like that, I feel confident though. You know, I'm definitely confident. I'm always confident in my skills because I know how good I am. So,
who did you work with this camp?
So this camp, so I've been with obviously the Elevation Fight team, but I've gone back to my roots, and what I am is I'm a really talented boxer. I always have been. So I've worked on my boxing with some boxing coaches. I went out to TLI, Team Lloyd Irving, for this camp to go train with my friend Craig Willingham and his team over there, Tafan and Sadiq Yusuf, and just wanted to get a different look. And when I went out there, I was out there for about a week. They were trying to kill me, and I needed that because, you know, on a day-to-day elevation, those are guys you spar with. I train with, you know, all these guys all the time. I know what to expect. This one, they were trying to knock me out, and I had to be sharp. I had to get back to what I was good at. And my buddy Craig, he warned me too before. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm gonna try to get you up out of there." So I was like, "All right." So I went in there, really got to reevaluate. Like I shined there, you know, and I feel like it felt like a fight, and I wanted the feeling of a fight before I actually fought. So I'm used to it. New looks, new people. Really, really, really been focused on my grappling for this one. I have a real strong feeling that's what he's going to try to do is grapple. Most people do. So yeah, but really fixed a lot of holes there, and just kind of like the people, who I put myself around is important as well. I've stayed off social media more this camp. I mean, social media is it's a necessary evil. You got to have it as a fighter. But I just felt like I just didn't need to be on it as much. I don't really I gotta stop giving a fuck what people think. I don't care, you know? And I always okay, because now guess what? I'm Caleb Hall. I'm 2-2. I'm on a 2-fight losing streak. Who gives a shit? This is about me. It's not about being that new undefeated prospect that's coming up. I look at guys who are Charles Oliveira, Anthony Smith. These are guys that I've watched for a long time, and they haven't had the easiest road, but they still ended up at their destination. And I look at that and I take motivation from that, but it's about me, and I don't really care what people think.
Gotcha. Manny Morales, he's making his pro debut. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I like the matchup. When my manager Brian texted me, we looked at it with my coaches. Just kind of looked at it and see. I might have been a kid that I could have fought on the Triton fight scene when I was in New York. I know he was scheduled to fight a guy that fought for Triton, just kind of that East Coast, you know, that vibe. But looking at him, you know, 6-3, I believe, on a 5-fight win streak. No finishes. He's never finished anybody. He's been finished a couple times. Also, he's got a couple split decision wins in there. So I'm confident. I mean, I look at it this way: is if he's never finished anybody, why is he going to start finishing people now? Why is it going to be me? You know, I look at it that way. But I also look at it this way too: is as a pro, I don't have any finishes either. So I'm looking at. I want to make a statement. I want to get to work. I want to finish him. Now, whatever presents itself in the fight, that's what I'm going to take. But I think people are going to be a little bit surprised with what I bring to the table this time.
Awesome, man. That's awesome to hear. How do you see the fight going, and do you have a prediction for the fight?
So always, you know, you see yourself winning. But what I have noticed is, although he doesn't have any finishes in his past 5, he's also hasn't been finished in his past 5. He's fought some pretty good opposition. He's a tough kid from Philly. durable. He looks pretty durable. I don't know how he's going to be at 170. He's fought catch weights at 190, 185. We'll see how. Big concern is like I want to make sure he makes the weight. But I just see it being. I think he quits a little bit. There's a little quit in there, and I consider myself somebody who can. If there's quit in there, I'm going to find it, and yeah, I think I'm going to get him out of there, second or third. But if it has to go to a decision, that is what it is. I'm ready to. People say, "Oh, I'm ready to die in there. I'm ready to die in there," but they aren't really. And for someone who I've been in the military and I've been in situations where it could be the end. And it's funny because when you're in situations where you've almost died, you're like, it's a peaceful feeling. I don't know. It's hard to explain unless you've been there. And, it's just it's a weird feeling, but it's like, you're okay with it. And when I fight, I'm okay with the result. I don't really care what happens. So I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him to the dark waters, and we're going to see, see if he can float, and I don't think he's going to be able to. So,
yeah, I mean, that's some cold shit right there. I don't relate because I've never been in the military. I'm not a fighter, but that was some cold shit right there, Caleb. I did want to ask, you're moving back up to welterweight. How come?
Being at 55, it's funny because my last fight, I've been in some dog fights, and I've never really been like rocked like that. And being at 55, I just feel I lose some of the best benefits that I have, which being at 70, being the faster guy, being more durable, having really good cardio. I've always had really good cardio. It's been a big asset of mine in a lot of my fights. And I think it's been the deciding factor in a lot of my fights as well. So I just kind of, and looking back as a pro, I haven't lost at that weight. So, and even as a amateur, my fights were always feel like anyone that I got finished in as an amateur was 45 and 55. As a pro, never. So, or as an amateur, never got finished at 70 either. So I think it's a good move. And I'm not getting paid enough to get to 55, to just be 100% honest. So it takes a lot out of me. I'm not a fun person to be around, and my camps tend to focus more on the weight cut versus getting better. I train with a lot of really good welterweights. I've trained with Kamaru Usman. I've sparred him multiple times. I know what the best in the world feel like at 170, and I think I can compete there. So I'm going back up. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So are you ruling out lightweight for the time being?
Just for the time being. I think, like I said, when I get signed to a bigger promotion that pays more, we'll look at lightweight again. But as of now, no, I'm gonna stick with 170. Or if Eagle FC comes knocking 165, that's right there. So a good friend of mine, he's gonna be in that 65 class. So I think I think that'll be good.
Yeah. Is 165 your perfect weight class?
100%. So funny story. So I've made 65 once. I had my fight. His name was Joseph Galaviz. It was my second pro fight. We had a contract agreement of 65, and I got the call the day before that he was gonna miss it. He was gonna be 70. So I kind of had to not cut 5 pounds or whatever. But I had made 65 in the past for twice. As an amateur, I fought a guy named Ryan Jarena. I fought him at 165, and then I fought supposedly I fought Galaviz at 165. And I think that's the most optimal class for me. And when I boxed at 62. So I felt, that's just, and I had a really good run as an amateur boxer. So that's, to me, is the perfect weight class. So, well, I wish it was more recognized by people. Unfortunately, it's not, but.
Gotcha. Finally, do you have any new tattoo ideas that you're going to get next?
I want to get a sleeve. So since we've talked, I've finished up this side of my neck.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm probably done with the neck for now. I'm gonna let that one go. It does not feel good, and it's now that this is all covered, people assume the rest of his body's got to be covered in tattoos. It's not. So I'm gonna get my my arms done. My buddy James Chagarian, he works at a tattoo shop here. I've gotten to know him over the past year. He does amazing work, so I'm looking forward to getting in the shop with him, and we're gonna finish up the arms here. Maybe do a back piece. I don't know. Believe it or not, I don't enjoy tattoos. I'm never I don't get a tattoo, but oh man, I can't wait to get the next one. I'm always have spacious gaps of time in between each tattoo. So, but I try to get one after every fight. Might have to slow down if I'm fighting this often, though. I'll tell you that.
Fucking tattoos aren't fucking cheap. I gotta tell you that much. God damn.
No, not at all. Not at all. I need a good tattoo sponsor. That would be the shit. Yeah.
It's fucking me and you both. Awesome, Caleb. I'm so thankful that you took the time to talk to me during fight week. If you want to plug your social media, plug your sponsors, the floor is yours.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Caleb Hall _MMA, Twitter the same, Facebook just my name, Caleb Hall. I'm gonna shout out to My Fit Foods, Mom's Basement MMA is another good guy who sponsored me for this fight. Obviously my manager, Sucker Punch Brian. Yeah, just pretty much all my coaches, Justin Houghton, Pound for Pound Fitness, Cody Donovan, High Altitude Martial Arts, Christian Allen, all those guys, and just my team in general, appreciate all you guys.